what better way to figure out that specified direction in the verb form of career than to ask someone who's reached a point on your personal map? How'd you get here? What'd you do? Establish a network, and one of the great things about this group is this is a network of people who are interested and concerned about one another's interests in professional and personal and spiritual and so on. But this is not enough, and this is the network conundrum. This is why I like networking. Networking, like I said, is not some sort of evil act where you're extracting things out of other people for your own good. It's a mutually shared way to help one another, to benefit one another. And I've never talked to a room of people when I asked the question I asked you earlier, who doesn't like to help people? Maybe it's because everybody who comes to these talks are social impact do-gooders, but no one says, I don't really like to help people. Or maybe they really don't like to help people and they're just not telling me that. I don't know. Point is, when you network and create networks, the goal is to help people understand how to help you. And there's a slide I used to use, and it's by, the guy's name is Mark Granovetter, who was in the 70s, a sociologist, and what he developed was called the strength of weak ties. So he talks about, if you're going to write anything down, strong ties and weak ties. Your strong ties are your family. This is a strong tie network. Anybody can ask you a question about your life, how healthy your dog is, how your vacation was, how your kids are doing. That's a strong network. That means they know you and your life and your interests. We all have a strong network, and every single one of us, our strong network is smaller than our weak network. Especially as you advance through life, you gain experience and you gain a weak network. This could be everything from high school friends, college friends, community college friends, people you worked with, people on your softball team, people in your orchestra, whatever it is. There's a vast number of people out there who know you and not much else. What can you do to talk to them, to help them know you a little bit better? And if you want to make a social impact, how do you want to make a social impact? Do you want to work in a nonprofit? If so, what kind of work do you want to do? What kind of role? What kind of issue? What kind of organization? How can you talk about that quickly instead of saying, there's just so much I want to do, it's so great? The person goes, well, good for you. I hope you live a long time and do it all. As opposed to, you know, with my background in education, and I know the fact that I also like to speak and write, what I'd really like to do at this point is to arrange a regular speaking circuit that pays me a certain degree of money, and through speaking, I can compensate myself so I can sit on boards and help you out. Do you want me on your steering committee? I would love to be on your steering committee. Please keep my card around and give it to anybody at your Rotary Club. It's a pretty good weak tie network tool to use. We don't tap this network. I ask myself, I would always want to help someone, and I want them to be able to give me the information I need to help them. When I worked at Idealist, people would come up to me frequently, Cheryl being an example, and say, I really like what you do. I've been told to talk to you. How can I help? And my answer, not to Cheryl, she was too kind. My answer to those people typically is, I have no idea how you can help me. And then they look shocked. And I'll say, why don't you tell me how you can help me? Because that's what we need. We don't need to be told what we're running away from. We don't need to be told what we don't like. We don't need to be told the 2 million things that we're capable of doing. What excites you? What are you good at? What do you want to be doing? Professionally, personally, how do you view your compensation? And how do you ask for it? Informational interviews. And I'll tell a quick informational interviewing story. When I was in the Bay Area, I lived in San Francisco for several years, and for about the 522nd time, I decided I was going to stop teaching, and I was going to be a writer. And so I was going to be a grant writer. I thought, I can write. I like nonprofits. I've worked in them for a long time. I understand them. I'll be a grant writer. I went to my friend who worked for a small grant writing boutique company of 3 people. I went there, chatted with her boss, who said, do you have a resume? And of course I did, and of course I wasn't going to offer it up, but I handed her my resume, and she said, oh, this is interesting. Oh, get rid of this. Oh, you should highlight this. Oh, you should move this. And she handed me back this piece of paper that looked like someone had bled on it. And I got it back, and I said, thanks, it's great. In 45 minutes, I had a reworked resume that was grant writer application ready, and 4 contacts. She said, "Oh, you lived in Japan. You speak some Japanese? Oh, cool. Well, you should talk to so-and-so. Tell them that I..." And she was writing numbers on the side of my resume. 4 contacts, a resume that was at the ready, and 1 job offer as a result. And my challenge to people is tell me about a more successful 45 minutes of your networking, career development life. In particular, a more successful 45 minutes that you spent online. So, informational interviewing, cannot say enough about it. People ask me frequently for informational interviews at Idealist, and I was always happy to do it. People like to talk about their work, especially if they like their work. And I like free coffee.